Welcome to LBM Talks Social Media. I'm Sally Lacey, the social media manager for LBM Journal, and every other week I have conversations with lumber dealers from around the country about how they're using social media to grow their business. I hope you stick around, because it's time to get social. Hello everybody and welcome to LBM Talks Social Media. John Perna and Peter Forsberger.
Thank you. Peter Forsberger, a.k.a. John Jacob.
Yeah.
So, do you want to introduce yourselves and Hamilton Building Supply a little bit?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm John Perna, President and CEO of Hamilton Building Supply. We're a independent lumber and building material dealer located in central New Jersey. We've been in business for 101 years this year. So we're family-owned, third generation. And we supply custom home builders, remodelers, renovators throughout central New Jersey, South Jersey, and into eastern Pennsylvania. And I'm joined by the illustrious...
It's me, John Jacob here, a.k.a. Peter Forsberger, a.k.a. Joe Nastay. I'm the VP of Business Development for Hamilton Building Supply. So we're very excited to be here and join you on this podcast today.
You want to show the mustache?
You mean this guy?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, there's Peter Forsberger. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Will you guys go ahead and just kind of describe and explain your social media presence? Like, what are you on? And what kind of content do you do for maybe some of the people that aren't familiar with you guys online?
Sure, yeah. You want to talk about Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on Instagram, also on Facebook. We were on TikTok for a little bit, but that didn't quite pan out.
Yeah, the TikTok, we do a lot of fun stuff on Instagram, and the audience on TikTok didn't think it was so funny. No,
They didn't think it was funny?
No, they thought it was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So you had an audience, and they were just
lot of
being
trolls.
rude.
A lot of rude trolls on
Yeah.
TikTok. So
Okay. That's funny.
word to the wise, some people have success on TikTok, us not so much.
Well,
we just sit there.
I don't know that I've seen anybody in the LBM industry really on TikTok in terms of dealers. Like maybe there's builders and stuff on there, but I haven't really seen anything for dealers. So
Well,
I don't know.
You want to find a dealer that gets tomatoes thrown at them.
Yes,
Go find Hamilton Building Supply on TikTok.
that's what I'm going to do after this. Okay.
But yeah, to John's point, we started out on Instagram, and Instagram's connected to our Facebook page, our posting just kind of evolved from there. We were like other dealers. We would post pictures of projects that we participated on, whether we sold windows or doors or what have you, and that was cool back in like 2013. We kind of evolved with the trend of vertical videos that you see a lot on Instagram. So now people scroll through vertical videos, and that's where we started to kind of dip our toe into the water a little bit in like 2021 and just start shooting some verticals and having some fun.
Yeah, we were doing, we'd start doing the, before and after photos and then the job site photos and whatnot. And then the slow progression of doing the videos. And then, we started to kind of have a little fun with it. And that started to get a little traction, and then slowly progressing with the more and more fun with it. So yeah, it's been a ride. It's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys saw a difference in your audience's engagement with you when you switched over to more of a different style of content.
Yeah, it's the industry in itself is somewhat of an older industry. So it's kind of lacking a lot of that newer sort of ideas and kind of staying with the new trends that are going on. So doing the same old thing over and over again, it's going to get the same results. And as soon as John really started to say, you know what, let's build this up. Let's do something fun. Let's poke a little fun to ourselves,
Yeah.
kind of make it make it serious, but also have fun with it. And nobody at the time in the industry was really doing much of that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely gotten a lot more traction.
Yeah, what's cool is like, when we post videos, and we've done a lot of homemade videos, and then we started working with a videographer. We can get into that. But when we post our videos, you get a lot of likes. Then you also get a lot of commentary, which is really important. So, I mean, like when Instagram has an algorithm and they look at like how much engagement is your post getting? Is there a lot of comments? Are there people that are sharing the post with their within their circle of followers? And that's really what kind of drives the overall viewer traction. So that's really cool to see, is that our post will get like comments and likes and whatnot, but then it also gets shared amongst other people in the community. And then when we go to events, it's always like, oh, hey, there's the Hamilton guys. I've seen them on Instagram, so on and so forth. So that's always like, that's like really nice to see, is like, oh, hey, people are actually noticing our posts, because you don't always get that. You don't always see that through our Instagram page. Who notices it, but they do.
So it's kind of helped with like networking a little bit within the LBM industry, when people come up to you and they want to talk to you about social and just Hamilton in general?
John's gotten so many numbers.
Tons of them. I mean, I'm throwing them away at this point.
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely has, and it's a really good talking point, but it really just kind of helps break the ice, right? So when we're out at these events and we're doing these different things that we do, it's great to be able to have that conversation and learn a little bit about different lumber yards and how they're doing things and what they're doing, what they're not doing. And that just kind of helps break the ice a little bit and allows the conversation to start where there probably wouldn't have been a conversation prior.
Right.
So the networking aspect is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I haven't even thought about it like that at all. So do you guys do any of the product focus posts still to this day, or have you kind of left that in the past?
I mean, we've been doing we still do the product focus posts. The last ones we did with Peter Forsberger would definitely focus on products.
Yeah.
We just added a little spin on it.
Yeah. So like, that was important for us, is like, all right, what are we going to post about? Well, we want to make sure that the community, the audience, knows about what it is that we sell, the services that we provide, the value that we provide. But we want to put a different spin on it than just saying, oh, here's a window and here's all the attributes of the window. We want to try and get our vendor reps involved, and we maybe interview them a little bit, ask them some questions about the product, something different than just saying like, okay, here are the attributes A, B, and C of this particular product, because anybody can find that on the internet. It's like when you're going on Instagram or whatever social media platform, you're kind of like going on there to be entertained a little bit. So I guess that's kind of our philosophy, is like, how can we make this educational but also like just entertaining in general, and also attention grabbing to the point where we know that the audience is only going to give us 15 to 30 seconds of their attention span, and then they're moving on. So we have 15 to 30 seconds to say something that's somewhat informational and insightful, and also slightly off the cuff and ridiculous.
Yeah, when we were doing the last shoots, the idea was we're gonna have an interview some of the vendors, and John was like, "That's not good enough. You're gonna dress up like Peter Forsberger, and you're gonna interview all of them." And he's like, "We're like, all right, well, we should tell them, right?" And John's like, "No, we're not gonna tell anybody. You're going to stand behind there. They're going to get the whole scene set up, and then you're going to come out with a microphone and just start interviewing them." And I was like, "Well, what's the script?" He's like, "I don't know. Just come up with a script. Have at it."
Just like, we want to kind of capture, like, if we were going to interview our vendors, and again, Peter Forsberger is John's alter ego.
Right.
He's like a celebrity interviewer, news reporter,
right,
so to speak. And it's like, this is just like something a little bit different and unique and silly, but it also gets our vendor reps or whoever we're interviewing at a very attentive state. Like they're kind of like, oh wow, Like they don't know what to think, but they're also going to give us their very real selves, because now it's like, now we're just joking around. It's very lighthearted, and let's have some fun, and let's also get some good information out of this.
Yeah, it was a very uncomfortable moment. In most cases, the initial like me coming out behind the door, they're like, "What in the?" Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
So are they following you guys, and have they seen Peter Forsberger before, or was it just like they didn't know about that alter ego at all?
Some didn't know.
Some didn't know.
Some did.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, geez, here we go."
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But they got into it. And
Yeah.
I mean, some of them really got into it, which we haven't posted those videos yet. But
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing them. And yeah, I think that you guys do that so well, and you really understand, I think, social media, where exactly like you said, John, if you don't grab your audience's attention, they're going to scroll past you. It's all organic.
Right. And I feel like anymore, you have like 2 to 3 seconds, that first 2 to 3 seconds to get their attention. Otherwise, next. People have like their attention spans, the audience attention span on social media is just so narrow these days that you really have to come out with that like lightning rod attention grabbing clip, and then it'll kind of carry through if you want to get that full 30 seconds or a minute long dialogue. When we first started out doing this, we figured like, oh yeah, let's do a 2 minute video, or a 30-second video, and we'll say all these things. And it's like, no, that wasn't the answer. You're never going to get something to 1 minute and 30 seconds unless it's truly attention grabbing from the very get go. So we kind of learned the hard way, Yeah,
the immediate engagement, right? Yeah, I got to get them engaged right from the beginning. They have to be captivated. They have to know, like, whoa, what's next? What's the next thing that's going to happen?
Right.
Otherwise, they're gone. Like John said, you got 30 seconds at tops. And if not, it's all reel. So they're just hitting a button and it's next reel. And they'll just go until they're captivated.
Right. Like, I mean, could it be just as effective to have John dressed in this Hamilton vest interviewing our Marvin rep? Yeah, I guess, in terms of like educating the audience. But it's much more attention grabbing when he's wearing seersucker and a big furry mustache.
Yeah, and I think that's just the nature of the platform, is that it's a short form platform, like short attention span, whereas something like YouTube or something else, they're longer form content platforms. So it's just the nature of it. You kind of got to keep it quick, got to keep it short, and move on. So props to you guys, and I think you also do a great job with saying you still focus on your products and stuff, but you are doing it in a way that's compatible with the platform, like moving to video instead of just a photo. Again, good for the algorithm, also better for engagement, and then you're also presenting that information in a way that's funny or in a way that's entertaining, in some way that gives value. Because that's what you have to do, right? You have to offer your viewers something. Let's talk about your content creation process.
Sure.
So, you guys post a lot. Like, do you post every day?
No. I mean, we try to
Few times a week?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell you a little bit about the journey. It's been a journey. I mean, we started out when we started this initiative where we're like, let's start shooting vertical videos and getting our team involved, and we also have to make it funny, and we have to put like a parody, like a spin on things, and make it like kind of like related to pop culture, but also tie it back to products and services and something that contractors and homeowners and architects would be interested in. We were at a point where we were doing videos and we would post every day. And that was good at first, but it's very time consuming. And, John's got a full-time job, believe it or not.
So does this
So
one.
do I.
Yeah.
So that was really fun, but it was also like incredibly time consuming, because not only are you coming up with the overall content and for each video, but then you got to shoot it, then you got to edit it, then you got to write the copy, for the commentary. Then you got to pick, tag all your people in it, and then you got to post it. It's a long process, just to do it on the side. So that kind of evolved into working with a videographer. The video plug for Lindsay Dowrick. Lindsay is the owner of the Video Artists, a local videographer in our area, and that's all she does is shoot vertical videos for social media content. Yeah, so we started working with her, and we said, "Hey, Lindsay, here's what we like to do. But our problem is we can't do it. We can't batch our content and produce it as effectively as you can." So we started working with her, and we kind of would come up with different ideas for what our content should look like, and all the things we want to talk about. And then we batch it all together, we shoot it all, and then she does all the editing. She does all the hard work for us to edit it, to add the script, the captions in the reels, and then she basically creates all the videos that we need for us, and then we can go and post them from there.
Yeah, she's doing all the back end stuff, the stuff that really is in the industry, the more difficult stuff.
Yeah.
And she's an artist.
Yeah. She's a video artist.
It's a video artist.
Yeah.
It's not just a clever name.
So she edits, she has all the raw video footage and she edits it. And do you guys post exactly what she sends back edited? So do you have to tell her, okay, this is what this video is about. This is how long we want it.
Yeah. So what we do is we brainstorm for, over a number of sessions, and then we come up with all the things we want to talk about, all the content ideas. If we have the Peter Forsberger Lumberyard conversation segment, we come up with all those segments. We come up with certain products that we want to focus on, certain service aspects of Hamilton Building Supply that we want to focus on. And then it has to have a general, all right, who's the audience for this? Who cares? If we start talking about our delivery service or our trucks or our showrooms, and who's the core audience and who's the sub audience. So we think about all those things, and then from there, our videographer shoots all the videos, spends some time with us over a few days, mm-hmm. and then she goes back and she gets to work on cutting everything up, piecing everything together, and then adding, layering in the captions,
the music
and whatnot. And then from there, then we get all the videos, and then I might even edit those further in Instagram. So you might give me a 60-second video, but I can make that a 2-part reel in some instances. And I'll take that 60-second clip and then I'll put it in Instagram, and I'll snip it down to 30 seconds, maybe add different music or whatnot. Then I'll create the copy in the comments section, and then we go from there.
I was going to say
we're working on our employee lounge, so you might hear some noises in the background. We don't have a dentist's office here, but
yeah,
like that.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
I've kind of noticed with you talking about frequency of posting, that's something I'm kind of focusing on a little bit for LBM Journal, is I've realized sometimes I was just posting to post.
Right.
And you just realize that content does have different, there's different quality levels. And so really what I'm just trying to focus on is the whole less is more mindset, yeah. Mm-hmm. and to just post good quality content. And if it's not to the quality that I want, to just, say it's okay. Yeah. And sometimes I think our audiences, I've heard that they just can be bombarded with content. So again, just the whole less is more.
Yeah,
is sometimes true.
And I do follow some influencers on Instagram, like Brad Johnson, and he'll always advocate, if you're putting a video together, don't post 2 videos every day back to back to back. You want to make sure that if you have a good video that you want to put out there, it's out there, and you let your audience see it. It'll eventually hit their feed. they can view it, they can engage with it, and then you post something else. So yeah, less is more, but it's got to be really good quality when it's less.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the idea used to be, I forget what the numbers were, but it used to be like, post one thing on Facebook a day, post 2 things on Instagram, 3 things on TikTok, something else on Snapchat. And it was just the way that they thought that the algorithms work. But the more that we tried to keep up with that, the more we found that it was not really working. And you're doing a great job, by the way, Sally. We really enjoy the work that you're doing over there.
Oh, well, thank you. I really enjoy your guys' content too. I think I went all the way back to 2023 and was watching some of your guys' content, and it was like Contractor Confessions.
Oh yeah,
That was a little series you guys did.
We should recycle some of that because there's some really
You should.
deep down in the treasure trove there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow on Friday. We'll just recycle something old.
Yeah, I like the Sopranos ones we did were pretty good too.
Yeah.
I always forget about those. I don't know. Did you see those?
How did those start, or what were those like?
It was like a mock-up of the Sopranos,
those are
different
good too.
situations. There was like
Okay.
the one where if you remember the Sopranos when they're all sitting around in front of the old store with the the table with the white tablecloth there, and they're just sitting around BSing, and we would kind of integrate
Oh, yes.
those into sort of situations that would happen into in our day-to-day lives, and how it could work with with the lumber industry. So just
I
kind
know
of-
exactly which videos you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you guys make a lot of creative content. What have you guys noticed themes in just which ones kind of perform the best? Like, is it is it your more creative ones, or is it more your product focused ones, or what are you learning from the things that you are sharing about your business, and just like, does that kind of affect your strategy going forward?
I think it's tough to say. I think John right now is scrolling to see what's gotten the most likes and what's gotten the most views.
Yeah.
We've had some real decent, like, ones that have gotten a lot of views.
You know what resonates really well is like something that a homeowner would find really interesting, especially if you're talking about like a hot button item. Like we had a decking post about like what should I do, or what's a quick way to upgrade my decking, and it was like resurfacing your deck or something like that, and that got a lot of views. Oh, shiplap versus nickel gap.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Everybody loves the shiplap versus nickel gap.
Right, because it's how the different people call it the same thing, different things, or different things, or they call it the same thing, and that got a lot of views and a lot of traction, because it's something that is pretty relevant, and we're dealing with that every day.
Right.
Yeah.
That got a lot of views. But you know what the funny thing though is, like, there would be posts that we feel like didn't get a lot of views, but we got the right views. Like the right people saw it and they came to us and said that was like such a good post, like that was so funny. I think to this day, the Hamilton News Network, where John was, that was probably the top one. That's a top 5 post for us. I'll post it tomorrow. I'll recycle it tomorrow.
It was pretty funny.
It was really good. It was basically John, this will air after this post, but John was working a clinic in the showroom and really doing well with a customer, explaining windows and doors and selling the features and benefits of windows and doors. So I interviewed John afterwards, and he was sweating. He had the towel around his neck. He was drinking the water, and he was just like, we really did a good job there. And, so we.
I don't know that one, but I will see it tomorrow if you guys do share that.
It's funny when you watch it, not when I explain it.
Okay. The international flashing awareness ones,
yeah.
those ones I think got a lot of
That was
traction.
a collaboration that we all kind of came up with. It kind of started at one level, and then we just kind of evolved and just got like worse and worse and worse and worse. And then it ended up with me with a trench coat.
But that one was huge.
It was huge.
That was big.
Yeah, huge.
So you mentioned kind of the homeowner audience. What would you say, have you guys noticed, is your audience? Is it contractors? Is it DIYers? And do you think that, what about that?
Honestly, like, our intent was to educate contractors.
Mhm.
But would you believe it or not, there's not a lot of engaged contractors on Instagram. They're just, I mean, there's some that are, and again, maybe like the younger generation of contractors is more on Instagram, more involved. But then we just kind of started, like, the homeowner community will catch on to it. But even more importantly is like our colleagues in the LBM community,
Yeah.
other dealers, manufacturers, distributor reps, they all see it. And like to that end, like you think that, we're designing content for one specific segment of the audience, but if it can reach the entire audience and everybody within LBM, then I think we're very happy about that. Because if we're just trying to affect like some sort of, just good education and change and just good thoughtfulness of lumber and building materials. So whoever we can reach and whoever we can connect with, we're very happy with.
It's also pretty beneficial too for some of the younger people, right? Our industry is kind of aging out, so we're doing the best that we can to try to engage some of the younger generation and try to get them involved. So social media is definitely a platform that'll help that, and at least they could be like, oh, we're looking for somebody to work for us. They go on Indeed, they see that we posted a job, they go, oh, and who's this? They go and they could look us up right away. We've got a couple of guys and girls that have started working for us after they saw our Instagram post. They're like, I'm working there. That's where I'm working.
They
Yeah.
I think it just kind of shows that our company culture, like our company in general, has a little bit of a personality. And when we're hiring and attracting new employees, like they see that and they say like, hey, that's really cool. I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, there you go. So you have your networking kind of effect from your presence on social media. You've got recruiting and hiring, and you guys have real world examples of that. And I mean, I can also say, as someone a part of the Gen Z generation, like that's something I would do if I was looking for a new job, and I would look that company up and see if they had any social medias. And then if they do, that affects how you perceive them, whether you'd want to go through with it. So 100%. And so to kind of just wrap up that thought, are there any other effects that you think social media has had on your business?
Well,
yeah, it's difficult to really to tell exactly what. I'd say there's a lot of people that will come in and kind of smile. Like I know a lot of the younger crowd that are builders come in and kind of be like, hey, I remember him. Hey, I know you. So I think they enjoy coming to us. So they probably have to pass by 2 or 3 box stores to get to us, but they'd rather come to us because they know us, right? We're a little bit more of a familiar face.
Yeah.
Especially for the younger crew that are like the runners, the guys that are sent out to go get the extra 2x4s, this, that, and whatnot. And then even some traction with the homeowners. We have a couple. I interviewed the one woman, Sunshine Raviolis, who's awesome, who comes to us.
Yeah. She
comes to us and buys stuff from us all the time.
Yeah, we actually got to interview her in a video. It was kind of like off the cuff. We caught her while she's a homeowner customer of ours, but she comes in a lot because she's always doing projects around her house. She has an old historic house. So she came in and we were actually shooting videos with Lindsay at the time, and she was in the store. And we were like, oh, John, this is like, we got to talk to her. And, cool video. And that actually got a lot of views too.
Yeah.
So you never know, what you might come across. But yeah, people notice, and they see that we're having fun with it. And again, it just makes it a little bit more lighthearted. It makes us feel a little bit more unique than just kind of like an old, stodgy lumberyard,
It does make you unique. Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly which video you're talking about. Great way to share a testimonial. I'm sure that's just really effective because you see a satisfied customer. She obviously likes you guys. You can just tell because it's on video,
right?
And you get a large reach posting it on social media. You guys do things that are more creative, a little bit more risky. You're kind of following your Instagram algorithm with video, and yeah, you guys, you're listening to your audience. You're responding back to them. You're engaging with them, and I think that has a big effect on your presence on social media, with everybody. So yeah, you look like you have something to say, John.
Our industry is very conservative, and we're usually kind of like at the tail end of like joining on new ideas and new initiatives. And for social media, a lot of what you would see from dealers is just like, hey, I'm gonna post this static photo, or maybe it's just a video of a delivery, but again, it's just focusing on me and what I do or what I've done. Whereas like people want to see like, how does this affect me as the audience? And that's kind of where, like, if I'm on social media and I'm an audience member, I want to be entertained. Obviously, that's why I'm going there. I'm looking to kill a few minutes and just, entertain myself with like a random scroll of videos. So the videos that we post should be entertaining and informative. And sometimes they're just going to be totally entertaining and you'll learn a little bit about something, or sometimes they're a little bit more informative. But, the most important thing for us is that we just put it out there and we have fun with it. And yes, it's going to be funny. It's always going to be lighthearted. Sometimes we have to stop ourselves just short of being canceled. But we'll always keep it lighthearted and funny and always PG.
Always PG.
Most times.
We have the ones that go a little bit past there. We don't normally publish, but
yeah. Oh,
next
really?
time we might show you the
There's an archive.
There may be. I cannot disclose this information.
John and I will never run for public office, but
that's not going to happen.
The last question that I'm going to ask you is just, what advice would you give to anybody listening that doesn't really know how to start, or maybe they're a little afraid? What would you say?
You got to start somewhere. So, and there's it's always going to be a trial and error situation in the beginning, but just go out and have fun. I mean, at the end of the day, like, what are we doing? You can't take yourself too serious, because once you do, it kind of takes everything takes the wind out of your sails, if you will.
Right. That's a good point. Is if you're going to get involved in social media and you want to start shooting videos of you being just your authentic self, don't be too serious about it, because your audience will pick up on that and they'll get disinterested. Keep it lighthearted, if that's the brand that you're going for. For us, like, we were keeping it lighthearted. We wanted to add some humorous elements to something that is always been very serious in nature, and like information giving is, and about products and services and whatnot can be very serious. So we wanted to add some humorous elements. We didn't start in 2021 thinking that we wanted to add alter egos into the mix, but it kind of just naturally evolved into that. And we started pulling our employees into it a little bit, begrudgingly at first, and then they do it, and then they have fun with it, and then they start asking, like, hey, when are we going to do that again? But you can't make perfect out of the art, out of the creative. You just go with it. You'll never have a perfect video or a perfect post, because when you think you do, that's when you get like no likes and no comments.
That's so true.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like the ones that you think you nail out of the park are the ones that you're like, really? Nobody
cared.
Like all three of us liked it. That was it. That's cool. I guess
Right.
So,
that's so true.
You just go with it. Just do it.
Can you share your Instagram handle or username so people can look you up?
So Instagram handle is @Hamilton Building Supply. So if you search your Instagram Hamilton Building Supply, @Hamilton Building Supply, you'll find us, and then you'll move on from our.
Go give them a follow.
Yeah, give them a follow.
Yes.
Find some inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, John Perna and John Jacob, thank you guys for being on LBM Talks social media.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Sally.